Okay. Microphone working? Looks like it. Okay. So here I have an example of a HUD with two buttons. They have each of them has different normal and specular maps applied to them, as well as different color settings. So let me show you that. Excuse me. So here is the bumpiness and the specular. I have some numbers plugged in here and a reflection color. Let's see if I can show you that reflection color. This material is a little hard at showing color, so it might not be that important. But on this one you can see it is reflecting green, teal. I have environment shine to 30, glossiness to 255, and the base color or the base texture is two of my old logos. Let's go back to this. I have also named them both texture, because this is how you control legacy materials. If you just wanted to control the base texture, this one, the diffuse, you would name it diffuse. And that would mean that this button does not change any of the legacy materials like normal and specular maps. However, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I need to clear my throat. Okay. However, if you named this button texture, but there are no materials present on the buttons, it will still work. So before PBR, I pretty much just named all of my buttons texture because it didn't matter, even if there was no material involved with it at all. And for the sake of sanity, when I say material, for this case, I am specifically talking about legacy materials, the specular map and the bump map, pre-PBR. And then for the description, I want this button to only texture link 1 and face 3. So I have put that in the description here. Now, which one of these is link 1 and which is face 3? We'll see when I click it. For the other button, I have also named it texture, but I want it to texture link 2 and 3, and I want the whole prim. I don't want a specific face. I want that whole prim to be accepting this texture. Now, in the face of mesh, I really apologize for clearing my throat so much. I just woke up. In the face of mesh, this might be different because a mesh may have a single face. And you won't be needing to identify a specific face to texture because it is only one face. It may be that you need to call in a 0. And a 0 in this system means all if there are no more faces than one. But it can also mean face 0 if there are multiple faces. So if you go to select face and you click on faces of prims or mesh, you can see what face you are clicking on. So this mother prim for the HUD, I just clicked on it. I am only editing face 3, which can be seen right here. On these buttons, I am editing face 0. Face 0 is important for the base diffuse texture, the one that has my logos on it. Face 0 always needs to have your texture on it. An Exobyte gets a little bit more complex, where if you are wanting to texture multiple faces with different textures, you would start with face 0, and then face 1, and then face 2, and then, is that face 3? Face 3, face 4, etc. And it goes over how that's done in the manual, what you would need to do in that instance, but for this case, we are just using face 0 because we only have one texture per an assignment that we are working with. So let's get into it. Let's click these buttons and see what happens. So we can see that I clicked this button here, the orange purple logo, which has that normal map on it. And you can see that it only textured one face of this prim. Which is exactly what I wanted it to do. I told it, link 1, face 3. And if we go back and look at it, don't mind that I named that. That's not important. Yeah. We can see that it is, in fact, texturing face 3. If I move off of select face and I go to move, and I click back on it, I can see that it is link number 1. The system gives you a script that you can drop not only into your mesh objects or creations, but into the HUD, so you can figure out what buttons are linked where if you needed that for some reason. But it is mostly for your creation itself. So it is link number 1. It is also the mother prim. These are linked to this prim. The last prim that you link something to automatically becomes the mother prim. So for the other buttons, let's click that. It textured both of these prims at the same time with the same textures that I gave it. And it textured the entire prim completely. It is link number 3 and link number 2. And because I wanted all faces, I used -1 for that face slot. So the naming convention for this was 2, -1 / 3, -1. And it accepted it. Now, how did I go about scripting that? Let's go ahead and open this up here. You'll see inside my HUD that there's only one script in here called core. And then in this one, there is one called the receiver. It is located in the mother prim. The daughter prims do not have that script inside it. In fact, it has the link set finder script in there. Let me click one so you can see what it does. See, it spat out link number 3, face 3. If I clicked on a different face of that prim, it will spit out the exact face. So it's really useful for mapping out where these textures are going to go. And I don't really need that information anymore, but I just wanted to show you that it's a very light, for lack, no pun intended, it's a very light system. So the receiver has a script, the HUD has a script. There is one other script in this kit called the initializer. And what that is doing is when you have set up a HUD, and you can set up a HUD and initialize it and it may not work and you need to make some adjustments, you are free to make any adjustments to this HUD even though the core script is in there. And then you would simply drop the initializer script back in once you've made changes, and it should accept those changes again. I need to find you can see that I have all of these folders with note cards in them. These were my configuration note cards. Now there's no configuration in them at all. In fact, I will open this one. It's completely blank, but I have named it the date. I like to use the date as the channel offset. That's what this number at the beginning of the note card is. And then you are allowed to put some sort of name at the end of it after a space to like remind yourself what this note card was for. So I named this one 415255 Exobyte example. Now, if I were to take this script out, and I actually want to pull this all the way up here, just so that I have it for easy access, and then I'm going to rip that into a new window. Scrubber. I'm going to scrub this. I'm going to scrub this. Now let's check and make sure. Texture. Blank. Blank. Okay. And those buttons are no longer working. So all I have to do, once my buttons are set with the textures that I want them to do, I have my little creation over here. It's ready to accept textures. All I need to do is drop the example note card in the HUD, the example note card in the creation, and then back here to the HUD, I need to drop in the core, and then I need to drop in the initializer. Remember, if I were to initialize this, find out that I need to change something, I could do that, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. Back to the creation, I have the example note card in there with the channel offset, and then I drop the receiver. So what the initializer script did is it went through and logged the UUIDs on these buttons and injected them into the core. I didn't have to do any of that. I didn't have to copy and paste. It did it itself. I'm a visual person. I need to see things to know that they're working, know where they're going. And if I click on a button, kind of hard to see, it's blown out, but it did texture it. And it textured it again. Now let's say that was not what I wanted it to do. I actually wanted this blue texture on the main prim, and I wanted the orange texture on the two daughter prims. And I've already initialized it. Oh no, what am I gonna do? I'm going to go back in here and say, It's not what I wanted. Copy that. Put it here. I wanted the exact opposite. I don't know what I was doing. And I can't remember what this was. It was link 1, face 3, I think. Okay, great. Oh my gosh, and it did it without reinitializing it. That is not supposed to be able to happen. That was crazy. That might be an update that I didn't know about. All I did was change the description. Normally it is supposed to need to be reinitialized. So, okay, let's say this. Maybe because the description is not logged into the core script, that information is left on the button itself. Maybe that's why I didn't need to reinitialize it. I've never experienced this before. But let's say I renamed it to multi-texture or one of the other naming conventions, or I actually changed the texture on the button, I would need to reinitialize it. So let's go ahead and say I need the leather and I need my gay spec map, which is a rainbow, for that. And I actually want that to apply. And you can see if I'm clicking it now, it is not sending that information over. So, receiver. Oh shit. No. See, I'm getting too excited now. I'm deleting the receiver script out of there. I was supposed to put the initializer. So I'm putting the initializer in. It's reinitialized. There we go. It needed to be reinitialized before it would accept the new changes I made to the HUD. And I have so many things that I've used this script with. I use it for skyboxes. I use it for literally everything. Let's go down to my store. Options. World. Environment. Let's use shared. And yes, I'm bald-headed right now. Clothing, I use it in clothing. I use it in accessories. Like these are PBR and legacy materials being changed at the same time. So someone wearing this product, they could choose to want to be able to see PBR for themselves, but say their friends are not updated to PBR, the friends would be seeing the legacy textures. So you have the ability to program matching textures if you so wanted to. But let's go check out what it can do for decor. Everything in here is using that script system. So this house, the skybox that I made, I can change the ceiling. Changed it to purple, red, black, white. The windows can get their own texture, and those are 3 different meshes that are all receiving their corresponding texture. The door gets a texture. It comes with a tinting panel. So it also has like hide buttons, So that is controlling this purple light over here. I can hide it or show it. If I unhide it and then tint, I can sit here and tint it to my heart's desire. And the way that works is you are mapping so all three of these buttons are mapped to that specific face of the overhang light, which is 5,0, and the button names are tint, glow, and alpha to hide. The alpha buttons, they come with this little show hide eye symbol. It automatically applies it for you. If you don't want it to show, you would just turn, I think that is face 0. Yes, face 0 away from the customer on the HUD. You also have the ability to use your own texture and place it on face 1, and if you wanted that one to show, you would face that to the customer. I didn't want any of that. I just wanted a hide button. And in reality, I should have... Oh my gosh, I'm having a hard time. I should have had this face the customer. But because it's a HUD, they would never see this green little top here, so it doesn't matter. Oh look, this is a Blinfong thing. Legacy. You have the ability to select pieces of a mesh that you want to texture, or all of them. So on this HUD, I have buttons named Star, Moon, and Snake. And when I have that button selected, it turns it green so that the customer knows, okay, Star and Moon are selected to accept purple textures. I could select all, and I want them all red. I could select none to clear that selection. But I want Snake to be blue. This selection zone also corresponds to the tinting. So, or I might have lied. This is kind of an old product where I was experimenting. So let's say Star. Oh, it tints the whole thing. I could have mapped it, now that I know more about this, I could have mapped it that selecting Star and then the tint button would tint just the star. But it is tinting the whole thing for this. So apologies for leading you down that road. With PBR, let's say you wanted to get involved in PBR eventually. This is kind of an early PBR item, and it features some emission, which someone has come in here and made it so ugly. Yep. Let's go back to purple. Let's tint the emissive white to show. Tint the diffuse. Okay. The liquid drip. Tint the emissive white. Tint the diffuse white. So that looks pretty fun, but we want the red drip, and we want that glow to represent the drip, or like the drip glowing that's on the skull. So I could tint the emissive of the main skull to be red. And this wind light isn't doing me very many favors, but it is red. behind there. It can work with texture animation scripts. It does not include texture animation scripts. These texture animation scripts were made by my real life partner, but they do not interfere. They can still work. All that good stuff. This is a PBR mirror. I don't think I have mirrors enabled right now. Let's see. I might lag out. I'm fine. Okay. So yeah, PBR mirror. And again, I don't have a great win light for this right now. But it also handles transparency change. So I have this as a window, which you still has a mirror probe on it, but it is technically looking through. And it's a dark corner behind it, so it doesn't look like that much is changing. But if I changed it to window again, oh, sorry, to mirror, it would be plain mirror. And then back to window, window. If I had something back there, you would be able to see through it. But anyway, hope that helped. If you need to see how any of these HUDs work, you literally could come here. And I know you don't have my mod rights, but you should still be able to see how I've mapped things compared to the receiver it gets, or that gets the textures. That should still be available to you to see. Or at my main store, the demos. I sell everything I make mod, even the demos. So if you needed to see an example, you could come grab this demo and see how it works. And this is probably the most complex HUD that I've made with this system. You can see how many textures it covers. It does legacy and PBR fallback. It has a tinting HUD. It has pretty much everything that you could think of. And I will end it there.